I just finished a brand new MOC. I'm calling it Facing the Darkness, and it's a Knights versus Skeletons build. It took me about 2 weeks to put this together from concept to the finish, and so I actually took progress photos the whole way through, and so I can take you from the beginning through to the end, and I'm just going to kind of explain some of the decisions that I made along the way and how I ended up with the final product. So let's get into it. It's a little bit different from what I normally do because I do a lot with Star Wars builds, but I was at the Lego store a couple months ago, and I was looking at the Build a Minifigure station, and I saw that they had Black Falcon Knights there, which I'd never seen before. And I thought, man, these are cool. I should pick up a couple of them. So I ended up grabbing a bunch of them. They were only $3 a figure, which is a great price. And brought them home with me and didn't really have a plan for them until about a month ago. Lego came out with their spooky VIP pack for their Halloween gift with purchase promotion. And I ordered the new office set, and that came with one of these VIP packs. And when I got it, I opened it up, and inside there were 6 skeleton figures. And I was thinking, man, it'd be super cool to do a MOC with these, especially with Halloween coming up and stuff like that. So naturally, I decided I have these knights, I have these skeletons, I should make a battle between them. And I didn't even know that this is actually kind of a thing that Lego's done in the past. They've done knights versus skeletons before, but I wasn't into Lego at the time, so I'd never heard of this as a concept. But looking through some of the stuff online and researching this a little bit, I realized there's a lot of different supplementary parts and pieces that I could get to go with this. So I kind of started workshopping an idea, and I went from there. More recently, I was at a different Lego store, and I found masonry bricks on the pick-a-brick wall, which I was super excited about. Masonry bricks are really expensive on Bricklink, so I loaded up on those, brought them back home, and I figured I had the perfect combination of things to make a castle build. I've got the knights, I've got the skeletons, and with these masonry bricks, I should be able to make some sort of cool castle ruins sort of thing. And so I kind of ran with that idea. Started putting together a couple of Bricklink orders, and I actually made a video on that, which I'll link to now. But I found like a skeleton horse, a couple of statues, and once that stuff all arrived in the mail, I could get started on the actual main structures of the build. So going for a castle ruins type of vibe, the first thing I started with was 2 main tower structures. I created these 2 towers, I added some vines onto them, and I only ended up using one of the statues because once I started figuring out the scale of the layout, I only wanted to use one on the right hand side because the build would have just been too big if I added the other one on the left and more structure on that side. I ordered about 500 2x4 bricks on Bricklink for filler. I wanted to elevate this build and really get into making some interesting landscaping, so I got started with a base and I built up on that. I then plated over everything with dark orange, and I added tiling under the right section of the ruins at the top of the build so it could kind of sit in an angle to make things a little bit more interesting, and then I used jumper plates to secure that to the base. For creating this shadow section of this build, I wanted to use black to convey darkness and create this sort of darkness coming from the main skeleton guy. So I added on all of these black tiles, and I also wanted a sort of hand coming out of the front of the shadow area towards the knights. And this is something that I've never tried building before, but I think it turned out pretty well. I used a couple of different bar and clip pieces with some animal tails, I think, and some horns. I wanted to show the shadow spreading over the landscape, and I actually had a couple of the same plant pieces in different colors, so I put the black ones on the left and the olive green ones on the right to show the contrast between the shadow and the light areas. I also created this ballista siege weapon, which ended up being too big to fit into the final build. Unfortunately, it just looked way off scale, but I still thought it was pretty fun. Next, I added in trees and vegetation, so I used hose pieces for the branches and the trunks of these trees in the back right. I created an area of undergrowth on the right hand side of the build with all of these olive green plants, and then I outlined the sections where I wanted to transition from one color to another. Total, this build probably took about a week for planning and about a week and a half of actual building in my free time. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. Let's take a look at things. right, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Also throw a comment down there if you've got anything that you want to say about the build or the process or anything like that, or if you have ideas of things you'd like to see in the future, definitely let me know. Subscribe to keep seeing more, and have a good one.